welcome back to another video. I'm just about to head to the allotment for the first time in 4 or 5 days. We've been on a long weekend away in Manchester, so I'm a little bit nervous to go and see how the plot's been getting on whilst we've been gone. I know it's been raining non-stop whilst we've not been here, so although that's a good thing, it means nothing will have dried out. It does mean that the slugs will have been out in full force. And I know they have because they've eaten all of my dahlia flower buds from the garden. But that's my fault because I didn't put any deterrents down. So I just have the one main job to get done at the plot today. I want to fork over the chili, pepper and sweet corn bed and just add the last bags of compost to it. I've got my last bag of compost here ready to take over. This is a pushchair that I bought for my senior dog who sadly passed away last year. But it has been ideal as my little allotment trolley for taking over seedlings or bags of compost, etc. So I'm glad I've been able to repurpose that. But without further ado, I will stop yapping and we will head to the plot. So I will see you there. Okay, so spoiler alert, the doggy pram broke about 30 seconds after I filmed that last clip. So I did have to lug the compost there on my shoulder anyway. But we'll get over that. I also only managed to get this bed done and I actually went back the next day to put the compost in. I had started to feel very unwell at this point, hence why this video has been such a long time coming. I was actually really not very well when I got back from Manchester for a good few days, as you can probably still hear in my voice. So the allotment and the garden definitely took a back seat just whilst I got a little bit better. I am now finally on the mend, just a few frogs left in my throat clearly. So I basically, just extended this bed either end a little bit, forked it all over and then returned the next day to fill it in with compost. So that bed is now completely ready for planting into. My chili and pepper seedlings are just taking so long to grow. Like ridiculously long. They've had their first, second and third true leaves probably for about 5 weeks, but they just don't seem to be growing any more, even though I've just repotted them. So we're just going to leave them another couple of weeks and then we'll plant them out whatever size they are. They've got to go at some point. But now that that's done, I have been to the range and picked up a garden arch for the butternut squash and the pumpkins to grow over. I did want to get 2, but they only had the 1, so that's fine for now. I haven't actually got any butternut squash seedlings, so I should probably re-sow some of those seeds. I haven't had any luck with those germinating so far, but I like a challenge, so I'll give it another go. So yeah, this was just me pouring in the compost the next day, and as I was doing this I was thinking, I need to go home and I need to go to bed. But that's just life sometimes, and I do like to really try and listen to my body when it is telling me to rest, which is something that I haven't always been very good at. But I will just take you for a wander around the allotment. This was just after I had finished composting the bed, just to see how everything is getting on. The slugs very kindly left alone our 3 remaining parsnips, so that was very courteous of them. They did, however, seem to have a go on the spring onions, which is unusual. I thought they tended to stay away from alliums or onions, but clearly not, unless that was something else. But they clearly enjoyed this marigold. That is long gone. The potatoes are thriving as ever. I did notice in the last few days some of the foliage starting to yellow, which isn't great because I think they are supposed to flower before they start dying off. But at least the brassicas are thriving. I have actually taken this net off now because they are just dying to get out of it, clearly. The broccoli down this end is doing really well as well, even if it is getting a little bit eaten by the slugs.
this bed all finished, ready to go, just waiting on those pepper and chili seedlings to hurry up, and the sweet corn. The sweet corn is taking its time as well. The lettuce bed is just doing so well as always. I should probably thin these out, but it's a bit of an experiment. I just want to know if it works to just leave it and harvest what you want when you want, and if it'll keep growing. I'm going to need to re-sow some beetroot that is being eaten, but it is still growing, so at least a few of them should survive. The Oregon sugar pod peas have started to flower, although something has taken a liking to these in the last week as well. Lots of the shoots right down the bottom have been completely munched off. So whether or not these flowers will actually turn to pods, we will find out. But there are lots and lots of flowers on them, so clearly they are doing quite well, or they were. Got some pretty sacrificial spinach down the bottom here now. I'm really hoping that as soon as the weather dries out, the slug numbers drop significantly. The runner beans that I transplanted seem to have survived. They don't seem to have grown since they've been moved, but hopefully they will. The slugs around here love mushy peas, it seems. Every time these grow an inch, they get eaten 2 inches. But I also love mushy peas, so I am going to have to replant some of those. They can't eat them all. The onions have gone crazy. I keep hearing a lot of people saying that theirs are bolting currently, but ours is still doing really well. This one is a shallot and it's split into about 5, so I'm very intrigued to see how that comes up when it's time to pull them. And some of the necks on these red onions are just huge. The camera does it no justice, but they are looking very impressive. These are lots of carrots popping up everywhere. So hopefully we should get some by the end of the season, fingers crossed. We must have sown the carrots on a very windy day because there are loads of random carrots popping up everywhere, and strangely enough the ones that we haven't been actively looking after seem to be doing better. So I think the secret to carrots is neglect. This is my one surviving marigold, the only one out of about 100 that I planted at the start of the year that I have actually seen flower. The rest have all been eaten. But that was partly their job, so I'm okay with it. But I think that is about everything at the allotment. Everything to update you on so far. Next things to go in the ground will probably be the pumpkins now that I have the archway to probably go just here. I think that's about the only space we have left. I also sowed some more butternut squash seeds before I headed to the allotment to start on the archway. I haven't had any luck with those germinating at all, I'm not sure why. And then I just grabbed my pumpkin seedlings and headed down to the plot.
Never been to California, never been to LA, so I'll stay home and write these songs, pretend I'll make it someday. My friends are getting married, they're all settling down, so I lay here, watch the ceiling fan go round and round. And it's always gone too fast, like a trip to the beach or the life of James Dean. And it kills me to think I'm avoiding the pill I can't swallow.
Okay, so I think I have decided to put the archway there instead of here. It is a lot wider than I had anticipated, and so a lot of this bed would just be under the archway, which isn't ideal. I might change my mind because I was keen on having the peppers, sweet corn and chilli in there, as I keep banging on about. But we could just do pumpkins, squash instead, sweet corn, chilies, and then put the peppers over here. I'm thinking that's what's going to happen now, but having the archway there does mean that we can put a couple of little seats in there, and that'll be quite nice once there's things growing up either side. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's not quite put together very well. A couple of the screws aren't in properly because these little plastic bits keep twisting, so I need to bring some pliers down to finish that off. And we also had one thing here that came without the plastic bit to go in there, so I'm going to have to think of something to fasten that on there. And then I will also get some climbing mesh to put along there as well to give them something else to cling on to. And then I think I'll put the cucumbers here with just a couple of probably those shepherd's canes here and some net. Shall I plant the pumpkins now, or shall I think it over a bit? No, sod it, let's plant the pumpkins now.
I think there's another universe where I haven't yet felt pain, and maybe in that other universe I'm a flower and you're the rain. I think somewhere in a different
Archway complete and pumpkins planted. These are the small variety, I remember the name, and these are Rocket F1s, which are large pumpkins. I definitely put a few too many along there, but we'll just see what happens. So yeah, and I think I've just got enough room for another archway behind there, which I will put the squash up, and the cucumber will now go here, peppers in here, sweet corn and chilies. So we're all sorted, and then I think all the beds will be filled. So what we do after that, who knows, but it's getting exciting. I also spotted we've got some peas. Oh, excuse my filthy nails. I really need to start wearing gloves more often, but look at these. There's actually loads on there. Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. And lots of flowers, so I assume that the flowers, yeah, the flowers turn into the pods. Wow. I am so excited to taste the first ones of those. I don't think they're quite ready yet, but they will be very soon. Look at those. Wow, it's like magic. One last thing I am going to do is re-sow some marrow fat peas in here. I'm going to leave these ones in place, and hopefully they just get carried away eating those and they leave these ones alone. So I'm just going to pop 2 in the ground by each one of these canes and hope that they have enough time to grow now. I think they should be fine.
I'm still 7 in 2nd grade, and I'm so happy that I feel alright, and that I haven't met my brain.
I think this is what they call chaos gardening. Using a piece of wood chip as a trowel. Even though I could walk over there and get my actual trowel, but this is more fun.
And maybe somewhere in a different world, my mom's a bug inside a tree,
Okay, peas re-sowed. And whilst we're on a roll, I'm going to shove some radish in this bed, because why not? I sowed some parsnips / carrots there and there, which are starting to come up, but nothing over here. Everything else that was here has been eaten, so I'm just going to put a few radish along here. Okay, balancing you on a carrot right now, or on a carrot seedling. Radish from Lidl, Rise and Butter variety. Interesting little seeds. Wow, they just went everywhere. Okay, cover that up. Press it down. And now I will grab the watering can and give everything a good soak.
But now it's time to set it free. Maybe somehow in this skull of mine, I find it hard to see the truth.
Okay, that's me wrapping up for the day. Not bad for a day's work. I have built the archway, planted the pumpkins, re-sown some marrowfat peas, and sown some radish seeds in here. Oh wow, just as the sun comes out. Glorious. But I'm pretty happy with that. I'm very excited to see how this looks by the end of the summer with things growing up it. I do need to get another arch ordered. I'll probably just grab that online. But yeah, I'm gonna head home now, and I will probably wrap up the video here. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again very shortly for another. Bye for now.